Photographer Edward Mapplethorpe's new book of portraits of infants on their first birthdays is the culmination of 20 years of work. Titled One, Sons and Daughters, it includes over 60 images, including of his own son. And Edward Mapplethorpe joins us now to discuss. Welcome, Edward. So lovely to have you here.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Where did your idea begin 20 years ago to photograph children at one?
Actually, the idea came to me via a client. I had photographed her older daughter on a couple of occasions, and then subsequently she had a second child, and she asked if I would photograph that child on her first birthday. So I said sure, and I tried to mix it up. So this time I just found a little seat, put the child in the seat, and lit it very simply. And there was something extraordinary about that session.
Do you think there is something about that first year or that first birthday where something shifts in a child that you can notice?
I think it's a momentous time in a child's development. From a photographer's, from an artist standpoint, it's the first time that a child really can sit on their own, have the mechanical skills to have their portrait taken. But I think the personality that the child is born with is really starting to manifest itself right at that 12 months. And I think that's what my aim is with these photographs. They're not really baby pictures.
No.
I'm not interested in baby photographs.
No.
But I'm interested in portraits of...
There is something so strong and almost shocking that comes out of these photographs when you look at this child's personality. And I'm curious what the whole behind-the-scenes baby wrangling situation is like. How do you get the child to sit still? Do you use the parents? Paint the picture for us, if you will, of what's going on.
Well, over 20 years of doing this, I certainly have a routine. The parents arrive with the child. Many times I haven't met the client, I haven't met the child. We have a simple meet and greet, and the set is all sort of ready, so we quickly get the child into the set. While the atmosphere is still new to them, everything's sort of new and fresh, and there's an excitement in their eyes. And I ask the parents to step away for as much time as that child will allow me. Some children will give me the whole session. Other children get nervous once that flash goes off, and then we start with every trick in the book that you could imagine. But I got to say, it's usually those first few rolls when I'm just one-on-one with the child that things really happen.
So it really happens at the beginning.
Sure.
Do you ever follow up with these children? I know since you started 20 years ago, or would you rather not see them again and rather not see who they develop into? I
don't make any effort to follow up with the children. You know, certain circumstances, be it gallery openings or book signings, the children do.
We'll come up to you and say, "Don't you remember me?"
It's a real pleasure, and I welcome that, and that's fantastic.
But you're not curious. You're not curious about that.
No, there's something I think really beautiful for me that the child is always frozen in time. And I think 20 years ago I started this, and I was very interested in making these timeless pictures. So there's no accessories, there's no clothing, there's no jewelry, which would somehow pigeonhole it into a time frame.
And of course you photographed your own son. Was that process different for you?
You know, I was very curious about that going into it, because I knew that I had to wear two hats. I needed to be a professional, and I needed to be the dad. And at the end of the day, I really took the job of being the photographer primary. I mean, that was my main concern, and the pressure was certainly on to do a good portrait of Harrison, and
you got it. You got
I got it.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful picture.
So anyone can have a portrait with you? I mean, I understand it costs around $15,000. Is that right?
Yes, certainly. I mean, I do many things. I'm an artist who's had a 30-year career. So, I mean, it is a little bit of an expense, but it's a piece of
it's a piece of art that will last forever. Yes.
That I think is a fairly heirloom, and that will be passed down to that child, and perhaps to that child's children. So I take it very seriously, and I will continue to do this forever.
And you also, though, explore in your artistic photography more abstract photographs, correct?
I do. I have an exhibition coming up in Berlin in September. This exhibition is a little bit different than the last few groups of work in that I am using a camera, because the last 10 years or so I've been working in a lab. I still shoot film, I still have a darkroom, and I've been doing very abstract work with that. But the show in Berlin, it is actually using a camera, but it's a conceptual piece, and I'm quite proud of it.
Right. Oh, Edward Mapplethorpe, thank you so much for coming to talk to us about your work.
Thank you very much for having me.